Hi friend. Welcome back to the Soul series, a space for quiet reflection, heart-centered stories, and the kind of wisdom that doesn't always come from books, but from living. I'm Grace, and today I want to talk about something we all face, but rarely embrace: aging. Not the clinical, numerical kind, but the spiritual, soulful unfolding of who we are as the years pass. This is the art of aging gracefully. Wisdom for the soul. I still remember the day I noticed my first gray hair. It was a Tuesday. I was late for work, rushing to get ready, and there it was, just quietly shimmering under the bathroom light. I pulled it out without thinking, and then paused. I looked in the mirror and whispered, "Was that always there?" That moment lingered longer than I expected, not because of vanity, but because of what it represented: time. Passing. And for the first time, I felt it not as a concept, but as a reality. In my 20s and 30s, life was a chase for titles, love, affirmation, beauty, freedom. Everything was someday I'll be happy, someday I'll rest, someday I'll be confident. But someday never came. And slowly I started to realize that youth isn't peace, it's potential. And if you don't pause long enough to ground that potential into presence, you'll miss everything trying to chase everything. I wish someone had told me, your worth isn't waiting in your future, it's quietly resting in your now. When life began to feel too loud, I returned to the quietest place I knew: my grandmother's home. She lived in a small, sunlit house on a hill, with lace curtains and the smell of lavender everywhere. She had a ritual. Every day at 3 p.m., she would sit on the porch with a cup of tea. Just her, the breeze, and the birds. No phone, no TV, no agenda. "The tea doesn't taste right if you rush it," she said once. Neither does life. We talked a lot those days, about her life, her regrets, her joys. She told me how she used to worry about her wrinkles too. Until one day, her granddaughter pointed at her smile lines and said, "Grandma, your face has stories." That was me. I was 5. I had no idea what I was giving her. Now, decades later, she was giving it back to me. One morning, I caught myself staring in the mirror again. Not judging, just observing. The softness under my chin. The tiny crow's feet forming like parentheses around my eyes. The way my eyes seemed deeper somehow. And then a strange thing happened. I smiled. Not out of pride. Not out of denial. But out of recognition. I saw a woman who had lived. Who had loved and lost and learned. Who had survived heartbreak, disappointment, starting over. Who had sat in emergency rooms and empty apartments. Who had laughed so hard she cried and cried so hard she laughed. And for the first time, I didn't want to look younger. I just wanted to look like me. Aging teaches you how to sit still, to breathe before reacting, to speak with care, to love with boundaries, to rest without guilt. It teaches you that nothing lasts, not beauty, not pain, not even fear. And that's okay, because the most important things, compassion, wisdom, grace, they only arrive as time passes. You can't rush your soul into maturity. It ripens like fruit, slow, sweet, and in its own season. I used to dread slowness. Now I seek it. It's in the long walks without headphones, in handwritten letters, in Sunday mornings where I do absolutely nothing except breathe, read, and be. Aging has made me more present, and presence is the most beautiful kind of youth there is. So, to anyone listening who feels like time is slipping, please remember, you are not running out of time. You are unfolding, layer by layer, lesson by lesson. Let the wrinkles come. Let the pace slow down. Let the years soften you. Because the art of aging gracefully isn't about staying flawless. It's about staying faithful to yourself, to what matters, to what lasts. And if you do it right, you don't grow old, you grow wise. Thank you for spending this moment with me on the Soul series. If this story touched something in you, I invite you to share it with a friend, a parent, or even with your future self. Until next time, be gentle, be soft, and keep becoming. I'm Grace. Talk to you soon. If you like the story, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. Follow me on the Elders Echo. Hi again, beautiful soul. Thank you for coming back. This is part 2 of the Soul series, and if you're here, you probably believe, like I do, that the soul isn't aging, it's awakening. In part 1, we explored how aging gracefully is not about resisting time, but about embracing it with heart and presence. Today we go deeper. This is the beauty of becoming, the quiet, tender unfolding of who we truly are beneath the noise of who we thought we had to be. There's a moment in life, and it often arrives not with fireworks, but with stillness, when you realize, I don't want to become what the world expects of me anymore. I want to become who I was always meant to be. It can feel like a shedding, or like standing barefoot in the middle of your life, no longer performing, just listening. The same way a tree sheds its leaves in autumn, not because it's dying, but because it knows the beauty of rest and the wisdom of renewal. Becoming begins when you allow parts of yourself to fall away, so the deeper truth can emerge. I remember standing in front of my closet one morning, staring at rows of clothes that no longer felt like me, blazers that said, "Put together," shoes that screamed, "Keep up," dresses that once made me feel worthy, only if someone complimented me, and I stood there barefoot, exhausted, and whispered to myself, I don't know who I'm dressing for anymore. That was the moment. The first real moment of becoming. Not a breakdown. A breakthrough. I donated most of the clothes. I bought linen, soft fabrics, neutral tones, things that felt like exhale, not effort. And that day, I promised myself, I will not dress for performance. I will dress for peace. So much of becoming is about reclaiming your inner voice, the one that got drowned out by roles, rules, and routines. Remember her, the 10-year-old you who danced in the living room, who wrote stories no one asked her to write, who believed in magic and talked to trees. She's still there, waiting, softly tapping on the walls of your busy mind. Aging isn't about forgetting her. It's about finally letting her lead. In the past few years, I've learned something surprising. Stillness doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means everything is happening. Underneath. That's the beauty of becoming. It's slow. It's sacred. And sometimes, it's invisible. You may not see the shifts day to day, but one day you'll speak up for yourself, in a way the younger you never could. One day you'll walk away from something toxic, not because you're strong, but because you're soft, and softness refuses to be hardened again. That's becoming. Becoming isn't just about adding, it's about releasing. You will lose things along the way, and you should. The need to be liked, the desire to prove yourself, the relationships that only thrive when you're pretending. Let them go. As the poet Rainer Maria Rilke wrote, let everything happen to you, beauty and terror, just keep going. No feeling is final. You are not falling apart. You are coming home. Here's how I know I'm still becoming. I no longer rush through my mornings. I say no without apology and yes without pressure. I cry more freely, and I laugh from deeper places. I stop mid-sentence to listen to birds. I leave space in my calendar for simply being. And I've stopped asking, am I behind? Because behind what, exactly? We're all walking different paths, with different skies above us. The soul doesn't wear a watch. It moves in seasons. Here's something I wish more people said out loud. You don't have to have it all figured out. Not even at 60, 70, 80. Because life doesn't ask you to be finished. It only asks you to stay faithful to your unfolding. You are not a final product. You are a living, breathing poem. An evolving story. And the most beautiful stories, they don't rush to the ending. So, if you're listening today and feeling the ache of transition, if your edges are softening and your heart is asking for gentler things, know this. You're not breaking down. You're breaking open. May you release the pressure to perform. May you find your worth in stillness, not status. May you fall in love with your real, raw, unfinished self. Because the art of aging gracefully is really the art of becoming who you were always meant to be. And that, dear soul, is more beautiful than youth could ever offer. Thank you for being here. This was part 2 of the Soul series, The Beauty of Becoming. If this story met you where you are today, share it with someone walking their own path of transformation. Until next time, stay soft, stay spacious, and stay becoming. I'm Grace, and this is the Soul series. Hey you, welcome back to the Soul series. So far, we've walked together through grace and through becoming. And today, we enter new, bolder ground. This is part 3, Aging as Sacred Rebellion. Because what if growing older isn't about fading, but about rising? What if every gray hair, every wrinkle, every choice to slow down, speak up, or step away, was actually an act of resistance against a culture that tells us we're only valuable when we're young, fast, and productive? Yeah, let's talk about that. You've heard it. Anti-aging. Forever 29. You don't look your age. Meant as a compliment. It's everywhere. And quietly, day by day, we start to believe it. That youth is the pinnacle. That beauty fades. That aging is something to fight, deny, or hide. But here's the truth. The soul doesn't fear age. Only the ego does. And maybe the most radical thing you can do in a youth-obsessed world is to say, I am aging, and I am not ashamed. Your body tells stories. And every line around your eyes, that's laughter, not loss. That's softness in your voice. That's compassion, not weakness. That's silver in your hair. That's not giving up. It's giving in to truth, to wisdom, to what really matters. There's a quiet kind of rebellion in choosing to be real, in a world that's constantly editing itself. And that rebellion is sacred. You know what else is rebellious? Not rushing. Choosing to live slow in a culture addicted to speed. Choosing silence over noise. Choosing boundaries over burnout. It's rebellious to say, I don't have to prove myself anymore. I don't need to be everywhere, all the time. I choose depth, not drama. Because presence is power. And the older you get, the more you realize. You don't want more. You want meaning. There's a moment in every soul's journey when the people pleaser begins to die. And it's not always graceful. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like tears. Sometimes it sounds like, no, that doesn't feel like me anymore. And the more you say no to what drains you, the more room you create for what fuels you. That's sacred rebellion. You stop shrinking. You stop apologizing for taking up space. You stop contorting yourself to be palatable. And instead, you start becoming sovereign. You were handed a script. Be successful by 30. Be likable. Stay thin. Don't get angry. Don't get old. Burn it. Every day you live by your own rhythm. You rewrite that script. With softness, with power, with presence. Aging isn't passive. It's powerful. It's political. It's poetic. And it's one of the last true acts of rebellion. In a world that worships surface over substance. Here's what I've found on the other side of letting go. I dance more. Alone. I speak slower. Because I no longer rush to be understood. I stop explaining myself. Because truth doesn't beg. I wear what makes me feel like me. I laugh at things I once feared, like not being chosen, or not being enough. This is what sacred rebellion gives you. Freedom. The kind of freedom that says, I am no longer trying to be the version of me you prefer. I am returning to the version of me I've always been. So today, if you're coloring your hair because you love it, not because you're scared, if you're choosing rest over hustle, if you're finally walking away from roles that no longer fit, you're not giving up. You're waking up. You, my dear one, are part of a quiet revolution, where grace is strength, softness is power, and aging is holy ground. May you age like wildfire, slow and untamed. May your laugh lines deepen and your care for nonsense shrink. May your soul grow louder than society's noise. And may you wear your age not as an apology, but as a badge of becoming. Because aging, when done with heart and honesty, is the most sacred rebellion of all. Thank you for joining me on this powerful chapter of the Soul series. This was part 3, Aging as Sacred Rebellion. If this message stirred something in you, I hope you carry it into your day, into your choices, into your truth. Until next time, keep walking, keep softening, and keep rebelling gracefully. I'm Grace, and this is the Soul series. Subscribe to the Elders Echo channel and hit the notification bell to follow me.